I've started work on the A pillar, and what I've been looking at is what I have to do to repair this. Now, I originally commented that I thought this was the way Jaguar put it in place, but having cleaned it up and sort of trying to fit the replacement panel, I've noticed that there's a little bit of damage to it. This area here was squashed in. There's a little bit of a dent still in there which I can't get out because of the seam, and there was a little bit more damage down in here where it was pushed out of shape. So, and also I've noticed that the bottom hinge here, where the captive nuts are, it's actually been pulled out. So I've actually got to knock that back flat. It's been pulled out as if the door has been pulled. Now, the top hinge, I can feel a very slight bulge in the panel there. Not much. So it looks as though the bottom of the door is sort of pulled out, which means it's, not sure what it means. I've looked at the door. There's no accident damage on the door, but I suspect that there might have been damage to the side panel here. Now, the panel that was on there had no dents in it, so maybe it was a replacement, and this has been damaged, hit in. Although, you know, it's hard to explain why they might have replaced that panel, because everywhere else on the car where they've had a dent, they've used the old dent puller, drilled holes in it and used Nicky. So, and that wasn't done on the panel that I took off here. But I'll never know. So I'll reserve judgment and not blame Jaguar. Maybe blame some subsequent repair. Anyway, I've reshaped that, got the shape back into it. I've been able to fit the panel on. I've just trial fitted that. That now fits the curve, albeit the panel isn't wide enough, so I've got to cut a section right off here and put a new plate in there. So I'll be doing that next. I've also at some stage got to knock that back in. You can probably see it's just on the video there. That shiny bit is where it's raised, just on the bottom edge. Not so much across the hole there, but certainly on the bottom. So it's pulled out. Or the only way I could suggest you do that would be, what would it be? Maybe, trying to think upside down. Yeah, sort of get the end of the door and pull the door up from the bottom of the door. Would that do it? Yes, that would do it. And that would tend to pull that out. But anyway, I've got to repair it. When I'll make this panel oversized so I can fit it. Not sure how it should fit down there. This looks like it's bent the wrong way, as if it's been pushed in, so I'll pull that out. I'm pretty sure that panel there at the bottom should line up with that, so I've got to fix that too. So when I do that, I'll fit it on properly, so when this new panel is in place, it fits up with the drain, so I'll just make sure that's right. So I've cleaned it up a bit, so I'll do this bit first, then I've got to address the damage in there. This needs to be straightened. I'll probably cut this bit of flange off and replace it because the rust is in the corner there, so I'll probably make a section that goes round up into there. Anyway, so that's the next job to do. I've got the repair section in on the side of the A-pillar, this piece here. Now that's oversized. As I indicated, that was about a quarter of an inch too short in the centre here, so it was bowed. So I've welded that piece in. I haven't cut it off yet. Just put that on there. Right. What will happen is that when I've got the door positioned, I'll trim this off. That's not fitted in properly yet. It's got a little bit of shaping to do, not much, but it will give it a full flange to plug weld to, which is something it didn't have when I got the car. So that's done. Still got a little bit of repair to do up in here. I'll probably cut a section out in there. Now I've done this, and this repair over in the back corner, I've got to cut a section out of that. So the A-pillar's coming along nicely. Repairs of the A-pillar have been finished. I've said before, new flange that side, repair here, repair section in there, repair section in there. I think that's the main pieces. Just cleaned it up, cleaned it back to bare steel, and put a bit of undercoat on there, some red primer, so that will hold it for the time being. Now moving to the B pillar. Just started to clean some of the paint off with some stripper. Oh, and by the way, I'm still removing rust off the roof, so that's a work in progress while I'm doing this. And also some rust in behind there. I've just got a bit of a wrap around that. But in terms of damage, it's not too bad. As this flange I'll have to repair, at least up to that point. So that's got to be done. This plate that doesn't seem to have a purpose, it was rusted on this side, so I've cut a section out of that. I've got a repair section to go into there. Apart from that, this pillar is pretty good. A little bit of repair to do around here, which I'll address when I'm doing that. So hopefully that won't take too long. So I've got that vinegar wrap on there just to remove some unwanted rust, and then I'll get to work on that. Now the piece I'm trying to repair is this flange on this side of the B pillar. So I've just cut the top part of it off, and in doing that, unfortunately, I've cut part of the inner guard flange off as well. Not so much of a problem because I've got to repair that anyway, because it's just around in here. It's got holes, and this bit here is out of shape and a bit too badly rusted anyway, so I've got to make a repair section in here to go around here to include this flange for the outer guard, and also the flange that goes under all of this. So I've got to make that first, but what I'll do is I'll cut that out, which will give me access to this flange to cut this out. So I've got to cut that along there and in behind there, so it's better if this is not in the way. So what I'll do is to cut these sections out. I'll fabricate something for here first, so I've got the right shape. Then I'll cut it out and then cut this bit out and then rebuild this section here. It's not too bad. The reason I say that is that at least it's all there and I know what shape I actually have to have. I didn't have that guide on the other side, so this is actually quite good to know how it was made. So I'll just start to pull this out and as I say, make a repair section for that, as well as this little section here. I mean, this is an easy section to make. This one with its curves and flanges going two different directions just takes a little bit more thought before I make it. So I'll start on that first. I've just been fabricating the repair sections. The section for this, just made that up, that was easy enough. Section in the inner guard, a little bit more difficult to get the right shape, but I think I've now got that pretty close. A little bit more fabrication to do, but it's getting very close to being right. Just cleaned up the metal around where I'm going to weld, so I'll probably do the next session will be to start welding these patches in. All in all, it's worked out fairly easy. The welding might be a little bit difficult. I'll see how I go, but I hope to be able to weld these two sections in without too much problem. Now that's rain you can hear on the roof. We've had rain for the last 3 days, which has helped bring the bushfires under control, certainly in the local area here. There's still a lot, but not really a threat at this stage, unless of course the weather heats up again. We've gone from temperatures about a week and a half ago, 48, and we're now down to 22, so it's actually quite pleasant to work in the garage. Having said that, I've now finished the B-pillar. Repairs have been done. Repaired this section here, new flange onto there, new section in around here for the inner guard, and I also put a new bracket on the end here. It was only half of it remaining, the rest of it had rusted off. So that's, the B pillar is now complete, which is quite pleasing. And now moving on to the rear panel. It's damaged similar to the other side, but probably not quite as much. So I'm going to have to cut this section out at the top. It's got rust holes in there, and there's some very deep rust pits in here, so I'll actually cut probably back to about there and replace all of this down in around there. So that's the next job. Once I do that, I can then start dropping the floor in. Now I know the inner the inner sill drops in here nicely. I've already tried that, so that's not a problem. That fits quite well. Everything's lined up. So once I repair this section, I can then start to drop the floor in and work on all this other damage. So probably the front section first, and once I rebuild that, then I'll work backwards. So probably that, then onto the transmission tunnel there. So it's progressing quite well. I've made a little bit more progress than I expected this month. This month I've spent a lot of time raking up leaves and clearing up debris around the property, just in preparation for fires. Still got the fire hoses hanging up over there. I'll probably leave them there for the time being. The weather is going to warm up again, but whether the fire danger will be as bad, hopefully not. This rain's been good for reviving trees. A lot of dieback, as you can see in the distance there. Now these are natural gum trees. They've been dying off. I've had a lot of mature plants and shrubs die off, but this has started to revive things a little bit, so we'll see how we go.